Right, welcome back, and we're glad to have you join us on the discussion segment of New Dawn. And we all know, it's no longer news, that there's a new goalpost when it comes to electioneering matters in Nigeria. I'm talking about the Electoral Act 2026, which is preparing us for the general election in 2027. Now, so many things in the Electoral Act have changed, but one of them is the new Section 77, which imposes a whopping 10 million naira fine for someone who is in two political parties. Now, these and others we'll be discussing today, and our topic for discussion is dual party membership and certificate forgery removal. These are sections in the Electoral Act 2026 that it seems kind of controversial, but we have someone in the house that would enlighten us, because that is what this program is all about. And we have Barrister Tunji On, a constitutional lawyer and a very learned professional like that, to discuss this with us. Welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure.
All right, Senior is with me on the show, so we are not all alone. We are going to be firing on all cylinders and letting you to know what this is all about. Senior.
All right, thank you so much for joining us again to discuss this particular topic. Nigerians are, have divided opinions on what has just happened at the House, and some are supporting, the fine imposement, and of course, some are also opposing it, saying that this, of course, is targeted at certain political party or certain politicians. But before we continue, maybe we should do a very short break so that our second guest can join us and we comprehensively start the program.
We have our second guest in the house, former lawmaker, politician, and should I add, an academic also, Dr. Sikiri Lai. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
So we have a broader perspective to it. So,
okay, I was trying to start by engaging Lawyer Onobawo, and of course it's important to get the perspective that you share when you saw such a news. That these, of course, there have been different allegations of manipulations during elections, and of course these two, a lot of Nigerians actually applauded them, while some other criticized the move. I don't know how your reaction to this, whether this to you is a good one or otherwise.
Well, thank you very much. The Electoral Act is the legal working machine for the electoral process. And you see from 1999 to date, when an election is coming, an electoral act will be enacted. But all from that 1999 to now, you just discover that maybe probably from the lesson learned from the last election, there is always an attempt to try to address the troubleshooting area. In the case of the issue in the front burner now, in this discourse, changing parties, moving from one party to the other, and what have you, particularly when election is approaching, the Constitution from the onset has put it a sort of check that you cannot move from one political party to the other, particularly when you are elected. And mark you, this is specifically made for the legislative arm of government, because it's so representative. It's where you have every person from all nooks and corners to represent them in the legislature, in this presidential system of government. And it is so because unlike some people will just be brandishing that there is opposition. Constitutionally and structurally, there is no opposition really in the presidential system of government as opposed to the parliamentary system of government. the legislature is the arm of government so crafted to be a watchdog on the actions of the executive. I think that is where it is being put in place from the beginning, that you cannot just be jumping from one political party to another. Now, going from the experience in the last election, most people, they don't, once election is won and lost, and the tribunal hand over its verdict, that's all. But for some of us who are in the practice of law, we look at what are the issues raised at the election petition, particularly the presidential system of presidential election tribunal up to the Supreme Court. We now, all along, before the election, we now see what are those areas that need to be checkmated in a way to make us have a very smooth election. You see, in the past 2 or 3 elections, the problem we've been having is all this what we call pre-election matters. Pre-election matters, talking about nomination, talking about are you credited to be in this party, are you legally, and at the Supreme Court they pointed out to them that if you are not in a political party, the same person, you cannot come to the election petition tribunal to challenge that he was not properly nominated to be a party because we have no locus. I think that is what now prompted the lawmakers to feel that maybe in our own way, let us not totally eradicate, let us discourage by penal provision for people from just jumping from one political party, particularly when you are preparing for nomination and election.
You cited the last 3 elections, and I think the issue of certificate forgery was also part of the issues. Largely the former president, who is now late, Muhammadu Buhari, it was more like he didn't finish school, he didn't attend primary school, secondary school, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. And then the current president also faced such backlash. This is part of what is being removed as part of things that push to pre-election matters. Yeah. So I don't know, is it really something to worry about?
For me, it's nothing to worry about, because look at the paper qualification provisions in the Constitution itself. School certificate or its equivalence. Equivalence can be anything, depending on what you are talking about. So it does not say you must pass or you must attain a particular grade.
Is the Constitution not ambiguous for interpreting? Because when they say equivalent, that is where people hide. That's where people push narratives. That's where people do a lot of things. And as a lawyer, I'm sure that
it depends on how you look at it. My brother that I left, he has been doing partisan politics with I don't know what certificate he has. I have been to a certain level very successful. But because of other things he wants to become in life, he now says, let me go and pursue this and pursue that. So that is it. The thing is that in other crimes, it depends on what you are talking about. All this, it is what you can do, what you know how to do, not the paper you have. That is it. And after all this said and done, you discover that you repeatedly be raising old issues. For example, in the case of Tinubu, the issue has been trashed and retrashed even outside the electoral system, and the same result. But you see, people just believe that when you lose an election, it's what we call in Latin tabula naufragio, that the plank in a shipwreck. If a ship collapses, everybody there to survive will be clinging to anything you can. So that is it. So it is better to make all this certificate forgery and what have you purely pre-election matter. You won't come to election petition tribunal to be challenging that so didn't have this paper, and the electorate will be telling you that we know that he didn't have this paper, but we voted for him to be our governor or our representative. That is the essence of democracy. So at the level of all these things, certificate and everything has to be submitted to INEC for clearance. If at that level there is no petition, nobody complain, and you see it is petition that is complained by somebody that will ignite all this investigation of certificate. If none is that, once that person is nominated by his party to contest election, and we must know one thing, that in the old good days, the issue of who is the candidate of a party never sees the light of the day, either in the court or elsewhere, because the essence of democracy and party system believes that if a party can just put forward this man as his candidate, as long as he can run through the campaign, he can speak in Yoruba, he can speak in Igbo, he can speak in English. What is all these things we are talking about, certificate, forgery or no certificate? Let that one be cleared by the regulatory authority which is under, and when that is done, that should be all.
All right, let me come to Dr. Ndele here. You have been a seasoned politician, you've been in this game for quite a while. I'm still talking at the certificate forgery. I am of the opinion that this constitution is so clear, SSC or its equivalent, you don't have to pass, just have the certificate. But this, why are politicians forging certificates? Case in point is the recent one, the Uche Naji, that the minister that had to resign. Number one. Number two, 14 days, is it enough for the party to do a scrutiny of my certificate if I want to contest? That time, that 14-day period in the electoral, is it enough time?
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing me on board. I want to appreciate the submission of our lawyer, a legal-minded gentleman. Yeah, I want to say crime is crime, and forgery, in my own opinion, it's criminal. And in the lawyer will agree with me that there is this term in the law, ex post facto laws that are made when an event likely to have occurred. Crime is crime. Forgery is criminal, and it could be taken up at any time. I don't want to agree with those people that came up with making it a pre-election matter. It's not. I mean, if somebody is being elected, is being sworn in, and at a particular time, they got to know that this person criminally forged his certificate, it could be brought up. And investigation, we must just separate it from election matters. Forgery is criminal, and it must be well investigated, and prosecution should be carried out. So that's for the forgery aspect of it. It's criminal and could be taken up at any particular time, even if it's just remaining 1 or 2 months for somebody to complete his tenure. This matter could be brought up, well investigated, prosecution, and the person, if found guilty, should be allowed to face the wrath of law. I want to see that law as just a challenge to educational system of this country. It is generally opined that going to school, education is scam. I mean, scam has been
By the young generation.
pronounced by the young generation. This law, will challenge the position of this credibility, educational credibility of those people that are aspiring to be something or to aspire for any position. That's my own position. It's criminal. Crime is crime, no matter what time is coming up. So, and anybody that's been found guilty of this criminal act should be subjected to prosecution, investigation and prosecution. It could come up at any particular time, at any time. So I don't want to believe.
Is it not also in the spirit of trying to save a lot of stress, like Mayor said, that a lot of issues come up after the election is being won by a particular candidate? Is it not also good, because I am one of those that advocated for such matters? What's the role of INEC? What does INEC do? What are the political parties doing before they present a particular candidate? Why do you have to bother the masses with technicalities at the end of when they have already made their choice as to who represents them? Why not make it a matter that people would, agencies involved should investigate those people before they even come to represent their people, at the elections? I think the narrative is actually taking towards that.
There is this procedural process of getting the candidate or an aspirant cleared for elections. They are supposed to have been a well-laid principles, procedures that are likely to have taken place before you pronounce an aspirant to be your candidate. What I'm trying to say, let me re-echo it, we should separate politics, elections from crimes.
Is that process not also supposed to do that job, investigating whoever is coming, whether whatever he has presented is validly owned or not? That process that you make.
Investigation, something can easily come up when one has been sworn in. That's my point. Investigation of a criminal act will come up at any particular time.
Not the Electoral Act.
Not Electoral Act. There are different issues. And
it's about certificate now. We're talking about certificate.
But certificates now. Somebody that got elected into an office, nobody got to know that he forged his certificate at a particular time of his tenure. It came out that, okay, well, this person forged, this person committed
a crime.
Yes. That person must be subjected to investigation. That allegation of crime should be legally subjected to investigation. We must not just make it to be a pre-election or post-election matter. Crime is crime.
Criminal offense.
It's a criminal offense that has to be handled the way it's supposed to be handled. It's crime. It's criminal act.
Right. Let me go to the lawyer. On this matter of certificate forgery, we have this issue of which in Nigeria, like I mentioned earlier on, but they are now pushing, the lecturer is now pushing verification of results and all to the party and INEC. But looking at that case study, the institutions, the educational institutions, if you send a request to them for this, it takes time for them to come out and say, okay, this is either true or not. Now that they have just 14 days window for INEC to publish names, is that 14 days enough for response from the institutions that, okay, this person is actually carrying our certificates, he came to this school, graduated so date, and all of that?
Yeah. Maybe I'll just, in a passing, say that I could appreciate my brother here, Dr. Gundele, the way he argues now. I think his journey into academia is yielding very positive result in him, because when I see him talking about crime is crime, yes. In the political arena, do you know how they bring out all these things? It is only when a candidate leaves his former political party and moves to another one and wins the election that the people who now see people who knew him from the onset now bring all this issue of certificate forgery. Yes, certificate forgery is crime. Again, I want to draw from the experiences, from the cases at the appellate court on these election matters. Basically, in civil jurisprudence, that is in civil matters, you will prove on balance of probabilities. If you make an assertion on a single matter, you prove on balance of probabilities. But when you make a crime an issue, you are alleging a crime, the standard of proof in crime is proof beyond reasonable doubt. I'm not saying beyond all shadows of doubt. You have to, that is the standard for criminal. And you see, when you come to an election petition and you are saying Mr. So forged the certificate, the answer from the court from generations has always been, if you say this man forged a certificate, you are waited for the man to have been thoroughly investigated, prosecuted, and convicted. So it is then that you can bring the documentary of evidence of conviction that, okay, this man forged a certificate. So that is why in all most of the allegations, I'm not talking about a person made a minister and some people raised the issue and being not the type of sit tight. You just feel that I'm obliged to just if that allegation is made, like the issue of Kemi Adeosun, just being a gentle lady, raised and grown abroad. If it is that the typical politician, when they are making the noise, you know where the source of the noise came. You know the political team, you will have sat tight and nothing happens. Yes, but as we are now, all those allegations being made at the election petition tribunal about forgery, I dare say none of them have been proved successfully, because you have to go to court and get a conviction before you can come to election petition tribunal and say somebody forged the certificate. So that has been the situation, and I think to remove because it's burdensome on the judiciary, particularly the Federal High Court for pre-election matters. They are still having some of the pre-election matter in 2023 being decided around the end of last year at the Supreme Court. So they want to remove all these things, all the clogging wheel in the smooth administration. And you see, election petition matter is a function of time. The time frame for the election is 4 years, and we don't want to have a situation whereby the man who has spent 3/4 of the term still having a matter hanging on his neck. So I just believe that is the wisdom behind saying, okay, all this certificate forgery, go to the magistrate court, go to the high court, prove it, you just bring the certificate. Then it is then that you can just say, okay, this man forged the certificate. So that is my position on all this certificate forgery.
So I think he talked about the timing. Is it not too short?
Let me be a little bit explicit on this issue. I want to re-echo it again. My own opinion is just we should remove it, expunge it from the electoral law.
Even for the politically elected.
Yes, it has got nothing to do with the election matters. Yeah. Let it face. Okay, if somebody commits a crime, let him just face the wrath of law. Don't allow people to start hiding under the specific dates. That's okay. If it passes this date, you can't pick it up again. Yeah. Let it just be a criminal act to be handled the way it's supposed to be handled under the law of the land. Politically, law is, ancient philosopher, they say that law is grammar of politics. That's where we have the rule of politics. The rule of law. I don't want people now to see politicians as continual fraudsters. If you say simply because time lag, pre-election, post-election matter, people will just continue bringing papers and prevent you from getting to know the facts of the credibility of their papers till it lapses. So I want to believe, and I want to say it again, criminal acts should be handled criminally according to the constitution of the land.
So let's talk about the dual party membership that we're also discussing. You're a politician. is it possible for any politicians to have, to be into two political parties at the same time? And if this law is going to address that, definitely they put fines there. But of course, how realistic is the enforcement of that particular law?
Yeah, I've taken time to listen to media narratives. I've read comments of people on this dual membership. Dual membership, it's a step in law coming up against this dual membership, and take it from the fact that this is coming from the politicians. This is just a step in the right direction, to my own opinion. It's just to restore party discipline. Yeah. And I still want to believe that it's just sensitizing the public towards the credibility of the politicians. It's good that it's coming from politicians. One would have expected it to come from an individual and not politicians. But it's very good. It's a self-control step. And dual membership, it's not I see it as not as critical as some other challenges facing our electoral values in Nigeria. Nobody has ever been prosecuted or been sent to jail for vote buying. These are critical issues. Dual membership is supposed to be left to the political parties to decide. The discipline, the disciplinary, the discipline that the constitution of the party says that they should do. Dual membership.
So are you suggesting that it might not definitely be, looking at vote buying, that it's not that there are no laws. It's not that there are no laws,
these are existing
deter vote buying. Yeah. But are you saying that this particular one might also just go along that implementation level?
Enforcement of these are laws. There are laws that are to be enforced, and nobody has ever been jailed for committing all these crimes. So there are bigger things, bigger challenges that one should be looking up to. I would have expected them to amend or strengthen punishments meant for vote buying, meant for rigging at the polls. There are some critical challenges that face our electoral system than dual membership. In America, it is allowed to.
Is it a possibility? Has it been a possibility for someone to hold before now?
Yeah.
Has it been a possibility for
people are, to my own opinion, people has not been so well enlightened, well informed about this dual membership. There's nobody that will come up with dual membership of two political parties. Is that I'm a typical example of what I'm saying. I left a political party, put up a resignation letter, and joined another political party. No person will be carrying the two political parties' identification. It's been misconcepted and it's been misplaced to say that, okay, you are in a political party and you worked for anti-party. It's different. If you are not carrying the two,
but you are only working for.
The section 40 of Nigerian Constitution that gives you right to associate.
Yeah, freedom of association.
Freedom of association. You might wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm done with this political party. The constitution of this country says specifically that if there are factions in the political party, you can do the two factions. and move into another
You
political
resign
party.
from
You
that
resign.
first one.
That like said,
So
you
are
put
there
up a
instances-
resignation letter.
I think the question we're asking is, are there instances where people don't take their time to resign before they go into another political party? You know, sometimes we get to hear in the news, you know, they make the announcement, but the process, the real process, like you said, in your own case, that you actually resigned from the People's Democratic Party before you
I didn't
joined.
mention a political party.
We are so popular in this political arena. I want to
You used to
be
be the chairman of, you know, of the PDP in
political
the
party,
state.
It's furnishing you better and further particular
You know, they even talk about the faction. They also talk about factions too.
Yeah.
But along the line, is it ever possible? You know, like you resigned. Yes, you wrote, you know,
Letter
a letter of resignation from that political instances where politicians don't actually go through that process, and then they just move to party B. Basically because they have, you know, it's a process now we're trying to strengthen.
Let me
Is that not it?
let me comment from this angle. Let's consider the mischievous act that is being, that is known for politicians.
Okay.
I might contesting an election against Mr. A, and Mr. A decides, okay, let me just use our political abracadabra to go and register this person in a political party.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, come up to accuse me that, okay, you have registered in a political party. This is highly ambiguous.
Oh, okay.
This is not.
It is possible for somebody that wants to contest against another person to register that other person.
Other person.
So registration is not by.
Let's just leave it in the hands of the high neck. April 14 is the deadline of submission of party register. Let them come up with electronics way of detecting people that are registered in a political party and come out to register in another political party. Let them just be the judge.
Okay.
Let them place the register, the
infrastructure
content,
that would sieve out.
Yes.
Okay.
But not that a politician will accuse a politician out of mischievous act that this person has registered, and if you go and look at the
Register, you see
you
the
will find
person's
his
name,
name
and the
there.
person might
It's
not
normal.
actually be the owner.
Yes. So let's just be careful on this particular amendment. It's an existing law. It's just to strengthen the credibility of party activities, considering the rascality in, I'm not going to talk like a
Politicians,
politician.
right?
The rascality
And the
among
mischievousness.
party politicians.
party politicians, me,
We are not in fine now.
So let me conclude by saying that people misplaced dual membership with
Anti-party activities.
activities. There are two different issues. Wike and other 4 governors in the last.
You are mentioning
I've got to, because I knew where you are going to.
Okay.
Wike and some other governors of
The G5.
G5
Yeah.
considered to have been cheated. Considered that, looked at the constitution and said, okay, you are going against the constitution of the party, and I so much believe, and I don't believe in the candidate of my party. You have the constitutional right to have an opinion. You might be in a political party, you might be in a political party and decide not to work for your own party.
in respect of a candidate in an election.
Yes.
Constitutionally is correct.
Constitutionally is right. You are entitled to you are entitled to your opinion, your sense of judgment on the candidates. So you might decide that my party candidate is not the best, and he can't do it well, let me support the other candidate of the political party. I'm not carrying
The card
the
of the
card
other.
of the two political parties. Wike will continue to tell you that it's a PDP man, and he has never been found in the arena of APC political outings. So this is just clarification on the misconception and misjudgment, misplacement of dual membership.
All right, let me ask the lawyer, because you have a constitutional lawyer in the house. Now, the Constitution allows for freedom of association. Now, if I want
To form belief and and to hold a conscience.
yes.
Yeah.
So if I have a political party, a card of two political parties,
Two.
Party A, Party B.
Yeah.
Now, I've been charged to court for holding these two parties. Now,
What is your offense?
for
Is
holding the
it
two?
a written law that you
I'm only painting a scenario.
Okay.
So, which law takes precedent? The Electoral Act or the Constitution that allows me to join any association, form any opinion I want?
That is why I'm asking you that before you can say somebody is holding the cast of two political parties and being arraigned for so doing, when they arraign people in court, you say you did this and this contrary to so law. So if there is no law written that you cannot do that, let us just put that one aside. That is why I was trying to expand the constitutional provision of freedom of association, belief, conscience. If, for example, nobody can say at age of majority from 18, your father cannot force you that you must go with the religion that you are being brought up with. So that to say yes, I prefer this candidate to this one, despite the fact that you belong to the political party presenting that candidate. No, but that is no offense. That is what Wike has been overtly doing for everybody to see. And you see, even it is difficult for.
So if the party, the party is likely going to be talking about anti-party, is that also not constituted?
Let us go back to their constitution and let us tell us what are anti-party activities. You will never find it when they just troubleshooting among themselves. They'll be talking about this thing, but that is how the political party they brought themselves to a corner. In those old days, issue of who is a candidate of a political party has not been subject matter of court intervention. They will just submit that in our party we are submitting the name of so. But when the thing develop, they say, okay, because of where people do certain things within their rules and caprices, okay, have a constitution. In your constitution, tell us the process whereby you choose candidates in your primary election. That is how the primary election comes into it. So when you cannot comply with your own political party constitution, what are you talking about? Then the other thing about this dual membership of political party is very simple. Drawing from the constitutional provision of fundamental rights to form a belief. There, two things are involved. If you are just a member, you carry a political card, a card of a party, A and that B. As long as you will remain so without any problem, as long as you don't say you want to be contest or be nominated, that is where the trouble will start.
Okay.
Because constitutionally, the thing, even the electoral act, you say you contest for this office to be nominated by a political party. You cannot be nominated by two political parties. So what you have playing out around us now is that when somebody is not sure of himself whether he can make it, he'll be hobnobbing and playing on time. Immediately, you see, in those days when they hold the nomination election in Party A, there will be a gap before they hold another one. Immediately he face here, he quickly rush, and by all this electronic registration and what have you, they are putting all these things in right perspective that you cannot just be jumping anyhow. Because jumping anyhow, at the end of the day, it generates a lot of all these pre-election matters, and that puts a serious hit on the judicial process. And I think it is better that issues that should be well managed and controlled by the regulatory authority as INEC should be pushed to their corner.
Dr. Ogundele, I think let's expand the conversations. Largely why people talk about or react to this particular amendment is really that we practice democracy, we copied democracy from somewhere. And of course, I don't think I've ever heard a situation where you have a Republican, still, identifying as a Democrat at the same time. And yes, they talked about ideology of our political parties. Is that really what the problem is? We do not have strong ideology, backing the different political parties that we have on ground.
Yeah, I want to thank you for bringing up this question. Considering the sensitivity of the matter at hand, democracy in Nigeria, you can't compare it with what is happening in some advanced places. We are still growing, and when a child is born, is expected to grow and walk. It's like Nigeria, we are still growing. You cannot expect a Democrat, you can't see a Democrat in America, no matter how poor his party has performed, cross-carpeting to another political party. But recently, it's coming up.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter. I don't see it as a very serious matter. You just leave it in the hands of our political party. It's supposed to be an internal issues to be handled by political parties. To detect dual membership, it goes a very long process unless you leave it in the hands of the umpire, which is the INEC. Let them just get a kind of measure that will detect people that are carrying two political parties' identity. But in these cases in Nigeria, in the case of dual, the narrative people are giving to it, they are taking it beyond the political party. They are mixing it up with what is being expected of the constitution of the party and the electoral law and the constitution of Nigeria. Constitution, there are three contradicting
because there are a lot of
laws.
defections into the ruling All Progressives Congress, and some are suggesting that it's part of the measures to curtail excesses of whoever is coming into their political party. Is that what you're trying to say, that it should be a party affair, not really something they should generalize?
And that narrative, I want to see it as just misplacement.
Okay.
It has happened when PDP was in power. People cross-carpeted from other political parties.
Are migrating.
So let's just focus on glitches that are likely to come up from INEC documents. It has happened. We have a record of glitches on their documents. Let's just leave it in the hands of INEC. Let them find a way of detecting who is carrying. Some people in all political parties, we don't have party cards. They don't have in APC, there has not been official party card to members. In PDP, there has not been official party cards. But the register will tell you people that have registered into the party, and it's really very good. It's been done electronically now. You can easily detect people that are, like we have it in NIL. If you register somewhere, you can't register it. Yeah. Let's just employ that technology. And let's educate the populace. Carrying membership of two political parties is different from anti-party activities.
Activities.
I can form an opinion within me that, okay, I won't vote for Mr. A of my political party because I believe he's not capable enough.
Yeah.
People, I mean, aspirants or candidates in other political parties that I feel is credible, is more credible.
But we still practice secret ballot system. So largely nobody knows who you're going to vote
No,
for.
you will come out like G5, like G5. Let's just agree that, okay, you come out to declare that I'm not, based on this fact, I'm not going to support my political party.
Campaigning
I mean, my
for
candidate. He's not my candidate, candidate of my political party. I have that constitutional right, electoral right, to abandon my own candidate and forge ahead to support whoever that I think is credible. I'm entitled to my opinion.
All right.
Okay.
Our time is, we have to go. I would like to say a big thank you. I'm sure you have learned one or two things. The courtesy of our guest in the house, Barrister Tunji Onabawo, constitutional lawyer. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And also Dr. Sikiru Olaiwundele, former lawmaker, politician, and academic. Thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sure you have learned it. That's the objective of New Dawn, to inform and to educate. So, Siemens, we have to go.
Yes, we have to go. A lot of questions actually because of our time. Thank you so much for watching New Dawn, Monday's edition. Wednesday will be another set of anchors over here to educate and of course inform the people. Keep watching the People's Daily and bye for now.